Well, are you ready for a snowstorm, which we're about to get? Even my husband is sent home. Some of the kids are coming home early, so if you're gonna be hit with snowstorm too, just grab your stitching and come on over. So welcome to my little craft room slash guest bedroom. If you're first time here, my name is Jurgita and this is my channel, Magic Pond Crafts, and I wanna show you my plans for 2019, which will include Stitch 9 challenge that Farm Girl gave a challenge to everyone out there in the Stitchy world. And then I'll show you some of my new starts that I'm hoping to start probably maybe 19 even, which is also sort of like a challenge from a different stitch group. So let's start. I'll show you some up close, well, all of them probably up close too, and we'll start with what I'm hoping. I mean, as always, it's not concrete plan, and I'm gonna just try to make it. So my oldest web that I'm hoping to finish this year, not oldest like total, but oldest web, is Mirabilia Lady of the Flag. I started her on July 4th of 2017, so hopefully within 2 years I have it done. So let's see up close. So Lady of the Flag, you can kind of see all of the sparkles happening here, and these are the beads, the white beads and like a clear see-through beads. You can kind of see also how it's like a parchment paper in here, and when you look up close, that's kind of problematic area for me, at least, that sudden change, and there's no like shading happening here, which is kind of weird. So, and there's beading in here, and you can already see what she's holding, some greenery, and her other arm is going to be holding a torch there. So that's my Lady of the Flag. So that's what I'll have left to do. Still need to figure out the skin thing, but other than that, that would be it. The second by age that I want to finish this year is Dimensions Gold. It's a Santa. Sorry about the ring. It's so it's a Santa's Journey stocking. I started this one August 7, 2017, and it's a kit. I love Dimensions kits. I'm hunting for some of them that are like out of print. So that's what it's supposed to look like, and this is what it looks like now, with the bottom finished and just like big top left to do. It's shaped like a stocking, right? So that's what it's gonna be up close. Santa's stocking journey. I guess if I would turn this way, that might be more similar, just bigger size. And again, if you haven't seen, I've done all like a French knots here, all the back stitching, nails for the sleigh, and couching is here. I still will have to have like a rope hanging there that I'll put like in the very back. As you can see here, there's like loose rope gonna be here, and look at all that sparkle happening, right? And these waves, I think I did with like a beading thread from a top, so just kind of attached this way versus doing you know, dip and then come back and dip like a regular back stitch. So you can see all the white dots, which are the French knots, and they're not that horrible to do. I don't know, for me it's not that hard. And all the back stitching done, and some of the videos I've shown that Santa had like a white space in the eyes, looked like a ghost to me. So you can see a nice shading in the arms. I like the shading in here. Done. And I didn't do like a split in half or a scan, since it's already 16, no, I think it's 18 count fabric. And need to pick up, continue all the back stitching on the ribbon. I think I've done all of the toys hanging in here and continuing, so you can kind of compare how much is left to do. So you see this in here, and like towards the tip, and still need to do all that landscaping and the house and the sky and all the snow falling, and a little bit in here, and then a little bit more of the gold stuff on his outfit and hat, and he'll be done. Of course, I still haven't decided what to do here with this. Probably no name stitched, but that's my Santa sleigh journey. Yep. Now, next in a row would be it would be a Joy Sunday Snow Leopard. It's I had it started last year in the March 10th, 2018, and it's a pre-printed fabric kit, and it's on a 14 count. It's sort of like a dimensions. They have it, I think they just came out with like a re-release in some parts of the country. So that's what it's supposed to look like. And it's hard to tell, but that's what I have so far. Shiny part, if you see window through it, that's unstitched. And on the back, you can see what has been stitched. So it's very easy. It includes all the threads, and if you wanted to do with the DMC, it's written all the way in the bottom here by the color coded. So it's very simple, and you can see a little bit up close here. Snow leopard. I think in dimensions they have maybe some parts even with the 3 threads and a half stitch, but this one is just a full stitch everywhere with a little bit of back stitching that I've done or I'm gonna do. I can't even remember if I did, but that's what it looks like. And all of this stuff should wash off, all those colors, so I can't play with this work anywhere that you know, could be damp. So that's like a number. So that's how much left. So you can see kind of some sporadic. I usually take one color, for example this sort of lime green, and I'm gonna stitch until I get tired or finish my thread, and then I could pick up something else to kind of fill in the holes in here. And of course it's kind of weird when you have a red color underneath and it's actually like a brown on top. You start seeing in between, so there's a little bit left in here to do. So all of this still empty, but like I said, it's very easy to do, and the fabric is not super you know, hard and stiff, but it's like a typical Aida fabric, you know, 14 count, so that's not bad. And this is what I have left to do for my leopard. Also would be a kit. I got it from Mereshka company. It's called Vintage Roses. So it's this one. And you can have it this way or this way. And I had it a good half done. I started her this pattern on actually on October 30th 2017, so I don't want to keep it for full 2 years, and this is how much it's done. And it's you can request on Ada fabric, I think, and linen, or even in linen, and I got the linen, so I'll show you a little bit closer to this one. My beautiful vintage roses. Really looks antique. So again, this is what pretty much left to do. If you see side by side, there's also these leaves left to do. So all that greenery and sticks. And let's look up close. So the back stitching again was done in different colors, and so they kind of intertwine and mix it in, like one starts and then continues another color to do half stitches, some of them like one thread, some 2 threads. I don't remember, I don't think there was anything like 3, but we had blends. I think secret in this is blending colors. It goes more, and there's a lot of mixed up of blends, like you would have like a 2 here and then 1 there of the same, and then that would be it. But I think overall effect is worth it. And there is like I said, another 2 that sort of goes in the style lilies. I want to get that next, and there's something else, I don't remember exactly what, but it would go well with these roses as a pair. Again, Mereshka, Merejka, if you read as in English. So that's that. And the next would be let's see, I call it stitchers or needle workers Christmas tree. It was pre-patterned on a Russian sort of Facebook type page by designer, and I started this one May 4th 2018, so which means it's part of Stitch Mania, and it's supposed to look like this. So it's a simple, and I still have it in frame. I don't have a lot left, mostly back stitching and like a satin stitch. That's what it's like now. I'm stitching on petite point 32 count Belfast, I believe. So that's what it looks like up close. And as you can see, my handwriting, it's 34 colors supposed to be in here. Some I think blends. There's a French knot, beads, gonna be, and back stitching, at least that's what it said. Let's look again. So this one, there's spots I think where the beads gonna go or the back stitching, and I started on these buttons. You can see the holes for buttons, so they're gonna, you can compare what's finished button and unfinished button. And this some kind of those gauge measuring, I think, little tapes you would find in a stitchy aisle. And I would imagine this is yellow ribbon, needle, stabbing a little cushion, and there's gonna be, let's see, so those are needle thread spools, so you can kind of see how everything is gonna look like. And there's a giant button on the top, which is like a topper, little star. Still lots of back stitching done to do, and have to work off the computer. So that's my tree. And then it would be fairly new pattern to me to stitch. It's Mermaids of Deep Blue by Mirabilia, and I started that in Chicago Airport going to Lithuania this past year in end of November of 2018. So if you don't know, this is what the pattern supposed to look like. And I had a lot of time there just sitting around and stitching. So that's a fabric. That's how much I've done. All the bottom is done up to the like a waistline, including beads and some of the hair. And this is 32 count under the sea fabric by Fabric Flare, Needleworker's Delight kind of. So that's what it is, and I'll show you a little bit up close. Mermaids of the Deep Blue. And let's see, so from the bottom, pardon me for wrinkles, so you can see sparkling cry neck and some, I don't know what's this tendril supposed to be for, but there's a couple more stitches actually left in here to do. So their tails kind of wiggle around, and there's, you can see like back stitching here, some there, and in there's gonna be groupings of beads in some of those parts, and especially like once you start going towards the top, then there's another cry neck put in, and there's gonna be beading done. I like this fabric. It's fairly soft. It's not super tough to work with, and the threads seem to, you know, lay nicely. I don't know, maybe it's the way I had framed it, and nice and tight, and so there's like a, it reminds me, if you look like just this part, it's like some of the dresses. I know of Mirabilia, some of the ladies have those like poofy dresses with some of the like waves like that, isn't it? If you know which ones I'm talking about, comment below, because I don't remember. And again, here's gonna be beading, so still lots of work on that to do, besides the skin, like you see here. All that skin will need to be done. And I don't know, again, let's see if we can get it. Like here, where is her neck, it's, I don't know how that's gonna work. And the same like in the back arm here. How is that gonna work? But those are my mermaids. My very first ever mermaids of Mirabilia or any kind. And then the very last one I started in 2018 was the Dimensions Small Love Ornament Snow Globe. I did that as a travel little project. This is how much it's done so far. So as you can see, and I guess I can show you a little bit up close here. So it's on a plastic canvas. 14 count. It had the threads. Design is by Joy Hall. So I'm gonna have I think itty bitty more left, so you can kind of tell the shape of like a bike, and it's gonna be a little mouse. So there's still gonna be back stitching done. There's still finished stitching here, and you can kind of see the shading in the blue. So that's alright, my little guy, snowman, snow globe by Joy Hall again, and it says it's 14 count plastic canvas. And in case you're wondering, that's a number that sometimes you can look it up, so it's not very huge in size. And let's compare. So I started the red in here. There's also going to be all that back stitching. Even as you see here, even the globe, it looks much blander, and when you put in back stitch, it's really gonna stick out. His outfit, there's all kinds of darkness gonna be happening here. The pedestal will need to be finished little by little. I think it's gonna work out. Was the last one I started in 2018, and then would be a few more that still has a little bit left, and one of them I don't remember when I started because I found it very late, but other one that's almost done is this My Teacher's Pail by Noteworthy Needle. Janice done, so you can see I need to just put in words inside, which is not going to be these words, but my daughter's probably teacher's name unless she changes her mind. So that's what it is. I picked my own linen, which is I think 32 count possibly, and that's what it is. I don't think you need to get more up close than that. It's simple. I already folded sort of like what it would look like. The bucket, it says never rest, never rust. So unless my daughter wants something like this also written, but that's not what I'm hoping to do. And you can kind of compare colors, and mine are darker than the picture. Pictures pretty much always, anywhere you look, is brighter. So that was all as a back stitch done. Some of the back stitching here done, and pure white. So I was hoping that this would be filled up a little bit more, but it didn't. It looks a little bit see-through. And all those blue lines, let's see, all those blue lines had to be back stitched. It just was regular white X and then back stitch, back stitch, back stitch. So that's what I have to do. And of course I'm gonna have to kind of do the wrapping around. She did some finishing on the edges of some type, but there's all kinds of Rusty Bucket list series. If you've seen my purchases from a Needlework Galleria, I bought Easter, like a bunny type pattern here, and I got those buckets. So anyway, this is what's left for me to do, and FFO, of course. Like I said, couple, where'd they put the book now? Couple of patterns that I wanna finish, probably not fully finish, because that's, like, you know, the hardest thing for me. Is I found the pattern back, and now I can finish it, hopefully. It's this DMC, this house, not the threads. It's called Home for the Holidays. It's 99 by 116 stitches. So that's what it looks like. It's a bunch of DMC gold and silver. I just picked that cheaper linen fabric from probably like Joann's or Hobby Lobby. So this is what it looks like as of now, with the sparkles. And I'll show you a little bit up close all of that. The house of DMC. You can compare side by side again. And here's where the mailbox is gonna be. And they give you like an alphabet to put in your last name or whatever you want, like welcome probably even. Still have lots to do, but let's look what I've done so far. So all of this, like you can see, golden and silver inside to kind of give you more light. It was hard to stitch. I think, I don't remember if I had 1 or 2 threads to use, but I think the less the better. And all of those little things that you see here will need to be backstitched. I think there's a lot of backstitching happening in this pattern. I don't know if you have it, but even the wreath is gonna have that. Everything in the door, in the windows, and let's see, branches. Not a lot in this tree, but all the pine branches gonna have backstitching. The bow, there's some kind of like a gift sticking out, and all of this, it might be like a straight stitch. I don't know, what do you think? Looks to me like it was a straight stitch to do, long one, long stitch, straight stitch. It's all stitches to me. So all of this, backstitch, backstitch, backstitch. So there's still quite a bit of work left, but I'm up for a challenge. I think little by little I can work on that. And if I'm not mistaken, that makes 9, but just in case if I don't finish one of them, I have one backup from my whips. It's Titania, Queen of the Fairies, Nora Corbett's design. And like I said, I found her hidden in the boxes when we were like arranging and moving and stuff. So I don't remember exactly when I started, some years back, more than 5 probably. And I used the original suggested fabric, and that's what she looks like. Nothing is changed, and need to just finish like something around the wings. I had either beads or like a crowning that I ran out of, and the skin was done 2/2 as original. I didn't know 1/1 yet, so I'll show you a little bit up close if you haven't seen that before. Long lost Titania, Queen of the Fairies, so you can kind of compare again side by side. Let's look a bit closer, shall we? Let's see how I do. And seems like all of this is done, backstitching done. All that was like a big blobs of color, and this will should clear out and iron out. Sorry for a glare. And all this light back stitching done. Now let's go to the top part. The wings is right here. Seems like all of this was done, and the sparkles. I can't tell if something was stitched in here, like at this space. It might be that's where I was missing the Krynik or something. And let's see. So we have big beads happening here and finishes there, and some like a back stitching. I've done a back stitching, so looks like those big beads still gonna happen on both sides. Like I don't have like this part done, so I kind of stopped, I think, like right here, and this antenna and beading in here. So that's what's left of my Titania. So those are my whips that I'm continuing in 2019 and hoping to finish for Stitch 9 challenge. So that's my 9.5 or 10 whips that I'm hoping to finish for this challenge. And I'll put the link below with the Farm Girl Stitch 9 challenge. There's a hashtag Stitch 9 challenge put in, and I'll show you what I'm hoping to start this year. Newbies, right? It's, you know, why would they sit on a shelf and just cry when they're abandoned? So at least time after time, you know, you pet them, pull it out and look at them, and then it's like, why I'm not working on them, right? So let me grab those things. You know what? Maybe I'll show all the new goodies stuff that I'm hoping to stitch this year in a different video. I almost forgot to show you some of the other webs that I'm hoping to work at least either a little bit, or like in one project I have to work quite a bit. So I'll show you those that I'm also going to work besides those whip to finish challenges. So the first one would be one of my oldest in reality whips. I don't remember where when I started it or where the papers went, where I was marking copies, you know, on a chart in beginning. Anyway, it's called Traveler by Heaven and Earth Designs. And right now, if I remember correctly, it's out of print pattern. I got it just in time from Michelle to do it, and I'm doing this for my husband. So that's what I have so far. If you watch my end of the year whip parade, you would have seen it. So that's the whole width. It's a little bit tiny bit hiding in there, and it will go probably until here. So that's what it is. It's a TARDIS, and I think it's very well done. Can you see the cryonic sparkling? Probably not, maybe it's too bright. Anyway, and I keep this magnet I made of the angel wings, because if you watched any of the Doctor Who the episodes they had in one of the, in quite a few episodes actually, those angels, freaky angels. So anyway, this is Traveler, and it goes slowly, all this confetti, you know, slowly, little by little, it works. So that was one of my oldest whips. Then I would have, by the way, that's, I believe it's 18 count. Then another Heaven and Earth Designs that I'm hoping, planning to work this year is Beloved. If you've never seen it, I'm stitching it on 14 count soft Aida 10 stitch or half stitch 4/1. I dyed it myself, the fabric. So I'm gonna just show you the folded part. Let's see, it's the opposite way. So that's the bottom, that's the top. I folded in half the top. And I have a needle marking on top where its page starts. So, da-da-da-da, that's what it is. So, I think it looks well enough, the guy, and I love it. It's of course huge. So I left this much room on this side, and that's about how much it's gonna be to this side. So maybe I'll be able to finish it, the row, this year. I'm hoping it's possible. I mean, it's a 10 stitch, so it's twice as fast. But you can see when it comes closer to kind of shines through. But it's not meant for it to look closer. It's meant for to hang high up on the wall, on a 2-story wall. And I'm working, what page I'm working, and that one I didn't have it marked, but the previous one I almost done with the page 14, how it goes. So anyway, this is my Beloved. You can kind of call it bed cover, right? It's that big. It's literally like half the bed size of the queen size. Then by the row of Age Before Beauty, right? It would be 2017 free pattern by Linen and Threads. So it's a mystery sample, and I started that on 2017 February. So it's the year passed, the next year passed, and I still haven't finished. I'm working on the May. and that's what the whole thing is gonna look like. So that's, and I'm doing that over one on probably 28 or 32 count, and I'm using only 3 types of thread. There's 2 pure colors and 1 variegated, so you can kind of see how it looks like. And I'm doing full width pattern. I know some ladies did just like a portion, so they would take like a portion because it's like repetition, so they would go like that, but I did a full width, and just started May, so it's not a lot done. So I kind of figured out which color I want once I get to that line and the month, and try to figure out what it is. But I want to do the whole thing in these shades. So if you can see behind me, it's started to snow a lot, and it's only been hour and a half, so we're in for the big snow. Kids, one kid, high school, was let out like almost a couple hours early, and my husband was sent out home from work, but elementary and middle school was in time, and right like when they left the school it started like snowing, and it hit the snow. So don't know how much we'll get it, but apparently a lot. Let's continue with the stitching. Next in a row would be third Heaven and Earth designs. I'm actually setting aside another 2 Heaven and Earth BAPs that I might pick up in a 2019 more. But I thought, you know, 3 of these plus another giant should be plenty for me for this year. So this one is called What's This? And it's a lion, and the colors, of course, again, my printer didn't print the same way, and it's for my son. And I wanna finish minimum half page, but would be great if I can do a whole page. But this is what I have so far, and that's not a lot. I think started the second page, so it's on opalescent color fabric that sparkles, and I have some sparkles which I use acrylic in it, but I'm doing again over one. It's a 10 stitch also, so it's a little bit further, so that's why I'm hoping it's gonna be hitting second page, and the second page should touch like a tip of a nose, so that would be something totally different than just the snow, because as you can see there's going to be a lot of snow and going to be a lot of darkness in the opposite corner, so it's like a day and night, right? So that's that. I'm doing that 20 the fabric is 28 count over 1, so that's should make about 12.5 inches wide by 9 1/3 height of inches. So that's like 5 pages width and 3 pages down. So that's how much it's gonna be. So it's not huge, but I think that might be like either half point or 2 pages. Don't remember. It's been a while. But anyway. So that's what it looks like. My Heaven and Earth designs. And my son says, you know, it's okay, you don't have to rush too much. You know, you'll finish when you finish. Maybe by the time he finishes his university, I'll be done. He's in the last year of a high school, so I have a graduation for that coming up. What's my next in my little notebook? Let's see. Oh, so it's Summer Ball. I got it from Russian magazine that was reprinted from one of the England magazines. Is that a cross stitcher or a cross stitch gold? I call it Manor Gathering. It reminds me of Pride and Prejudice, that era. I started that in Stitch Mania of 2017, and I'm right now ending page 16. So the picture is gonna be looking like that. Maybe the light is too bright. It's started getting dark, you know, twilight. And I'm not stitching Twilight, although I've watched all the Twilight movies, and actually I have them. It's just supernatural. I like it. So that's the full length and the width, and I'm doing this on, did I write it down? Nope, I didn't. Might be 32 count. Anyway, so this is how much I'm done, and I folded fabric in half, so that's like half, and they're extending. So this is full width, and I had scanned the chart into the computer, and that's the only way I can do the back stitch, and it was on my old computer, which I can't get into anymore, so I have to figure out if I have the magazine somewhere buried in the basement to finish off. But anyway, I'm doing 2/2, except the skin, which skin is 1/1, and I've done the back stitching only on almost finished with this guy. See, it's still a little thread left. So at first this kind of was annoying to me. Seems like, you know, it could have been at least maybe mix of colors. So if you're planning to stitch this, it's by Sandy Littlejohn, I believe. Maybe you could do like a blend or something like that. So up close, faces really look, you know, like a blobs. Until you put in like you know, like a back stitching, then it kind of works. I don't know, forward facing camera doesn't do nice zoom in thing. But anyway, that's my manner gathering, and I'm hoping to at least do a couple more people. I'm not putting high plans on this, but it would be fun to add a couple more people since I'm doing all those other finishes. So that's manner gathering, and what else I have left in a row? That would be what else did I mention? Okay, the next in timeline is my one of the bigger projects too, and I started last year in February on George Washington's birthday. So that might give you a hint what I'm stitching. There's a Facebook page, public one, and there's a website created for everybody else to kind of look and see progresses. It's 112 of us stitching this. Again, you know, I printed this on a paper. All Americans probably would know, and even some of you in foreign countries probably would know this painting, George Washington crossing Delaware River. So my piece is like this small corner. It's 112 of us again, so I have a blurb, as I call it, of sort of bluish grayish colors, because and here it's much more brighter blue, but I'm gonna have just a small thing. And it's 10 pages wide, about almost 10 pages tall, and we're doing that all on a 18 count. All the materials were donated except our like frames and magnets and stuff. So I didn't take off the pattern because it's just a blurb anyway, but I'll show you the full length width. So that's what it looks like. I have pictures constantly post on Instagram and on those Facebook page. So that's what it looks like, and when you look up close, that's how the blurb is. So this is that's the size of the page, and it goes about here. That's the page size, and keeps continuing and keep going. I'm a little bit ahead thanks to challenge that in some of the stitchers have in different groups. And right now, like in the month of January, I'm supposed to do 5,000 stitches excess. Oh my gosh. So I have to stitch quite a bit, but it pushes me, and they encourage me to do more and more. And I think it's like 6 or 7 of us right now in the group. It's not Georgia stitching group. You can stitch on any project you want, all those things, but I figured out I might as well use that one, you know. So it's like 6 or 7 of us left that keep every month we add like 500 more stitches. So we'll see how far we can go until we either quit or can't handle it anymore. But it's fun. So if you're having trouble stitching something, find somebody like a buddy system that can kick you behind or encourage you, whichever way it's easier for you to, you know, to continue work, because it's boring. I mean, even if I would make mistake, it's wouldn't show, you know, unless it's giant mistake that I just ignore the pattern. But I try to go exactly as it is in the pattern, you know, and it's not as heavy confetti as would be heavy nerd designs, but it's still confetti. So that, and then we have a couple more left. So first would be my latest thing that I just finished this morning piece. It's Brooke's Books alphabet, and it's free on her website, so if you like it, you can do it too. The way I'm gonna be doing it is and I had the pattern somewhere nearby. Anyway, you can look online, and I'm gonna do like 3 letters on top, and oh, here it is. So I'm gonna do like 3 letters on top, and then 5, 5, 5, and on the bottom is gonna be 3 again. And I'm doing 2 over 2. It includes beads, it includes back stitching and the regular stitching, but I just finished letter B. So, geez, that light is bright. So this just has butterflies, bunch of beading. You can see more on like Instagram or other pages I think I was posting, maybe Stitch Mania. But anyway, so I'll add the 3rd letter here, and then it's gonna be wider, and that's the full size. That's gonna be like that. So since I just finished this one, I'm gonna set it aside, since I know I'm not gonna finish. So my hope for this year to do maybe at least one every couple of months. So maybe 6 letters, 5 to 6 letters, oh, I hope. So that would be it. And then another one I want to touch up. I've never worked canvas. I've never done canvas work. And this pattern is I bought from Modern Twist Embroidery. Designer is Olga Mamaeva, and it's considered counted embroidery. And its name is Garden of Semiramis. I'm doing that as a suggested on 18 count canvas, and I already have on a stretch frame. And the only thing I've done, I started it in Stitch Mania last year. And the only thing I've done is this like a satin thread usage, and started to go. So it's sort of like a chatelaine, and it just repeats, you know, on all sides. But that's all it is. Look how shiny it is. So it's gonna have a beads, it's gonna have you know, all kinds of different threads and different thickness of threads, and we'll see how it works. I've never done it, and I want to do at least that very middle part, that like a plus sign sort of. I'm hoping to do this year. And I think the last stitchy project would be Beard Dragon. Oh no, there's gonna be another one. But anyway, Beard Dragon I bought along with coffee, tea, and rum dragons from this Russian designer Nadezhda Kazarina. She has all kinds of different patterns, and I'm stitching that on 32 count 2/2 on the black Belfast. So there's the cutie, and I left it in the frame, and that's how it looks like right now. To compare, so you can see side by side, and as you can see, I pretty much finished with the beer jug, and the handle is almost done. There's still some bottom left to do, like finish this fill in and the shading, which is half stitch. I already started doing back stitch of dragon's body in it, and you see it like a claws in the green color. So my hope this year is just to at least to finish all this bottom, all this handle, do all of the back stitching, and maybe like do like a tail. So depends what I feel, you know. So it's cute. I want to finish it quickly, but there's so many projects that's calling my name, it's ridiculous. That's what I'm using as my whips, kind of touch up, working besides those finishes. So I think I'm gonna, for now I'm really done, and it really is getting dark and snowy outside, so I have to put it all together, this video clips, and I'll see you at the next video. If you have a questions, put it down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you like my channel or those videos, and if you want to see something specific, don't be afraid to ask. So that's it. My name is again Jurgita, and with Magic Pun Crafts, and happy stitching. Aitäh!